We are officially DJI Osmo Pocket 3 owners. Look at it. It looks like a little robot head. Everything under $20 is $1. Alright, we have acquired the chairs. I also grabbed the pillows from our bedroom. No room is ever finished. When we got this piece, it was just like a wood color. Like, this is our new bench. Hello again and welcome back to the vlog. I have a whole bunch of errands I need to run, a bunch of little tasks I want to try to accomplish this weekend, so I'm just gonna bring you along with me. So our first stop is going to be Best Buy. I am actually picking up another new camera, believe it or not. Back in January, I actually did pick up a new camera because my Canon G7X, which is my primary vlog camera, was acting funny and I needed a backup camera. But the G7X decided to keep working and I ended up returning the new camera I bought because I didn't need it. Since I returned it, I've been doing a whole bunch of research on cameras and of course spiraling as I always do, being super indecisive on what I wanted to get next, and I finally made a decision. So we're gonna head to Best Buy and pick that up and I'll show you what I got.
We're all set.
Thank you so much. We are officially DJI Osmo Pocket 3 owners and I could not be more excited, truly. This camera has a ton of awesome features, but two of the things I'm most excited about are the fact that the camera is on a gimbal. So hopefully that will help with the bounciness of some of my shots when I'm walking around and trying to show you stuff. The other thing is this creator combo, which is what I purchased, comes with a mic. So the mic pairs directly with the camera and hopefully that will help with audio. Some of the rooms in the house are very echoey, or when you're out in public, sometimes you pick up a lot of background noise, and I haven't really experimented with the mic because I just don't want a big setup. I want something that's super easy that I can throw in my purse, throw in my pocket, and just like go with. So I was trying to keep that in mind when I was looking for, you know, the next camera I would use. I'll stop rambling on this for now, but I'll share it with you when I open it up. Since we are out in the Salem, New Hampshire area, I am stopping at one of my, I guess, go-to thrift stores in this area. There aren't a ton, but this one is called New Beginnings Home Decor and Furniture Consignment. So we're gonna go inside and see what they have. Okay, I was just talking to the lady at the desk and she said that everything under $20 is $1. Everything over $20 is 75% off, and furniture is 20 or 25% off. So like 75% off? I need to bust out the calculator. Back in the car, I ended up getting two things, which I will show you. I was initially very excited about the discounts that she mentioned, but as I was walking around, I realized that everything was priced accordingly. So this little pot was probably the best deal I got. Everything under $20 was $1, so I got this set for $1. That'll be great for something I'm planting. I always love collecting little pots and planters because, you know, as I start planting seedlings and growing things in the spring and summer, it's nice to have little things like that for herbs or little flowers, or I don't even know. It's just nice to have them in stock. The other thing I got was this butter dish, which was a request from Matt. I don't know why. We've always kept our butter in the fridge. Does anyone else do that? Like, who keeps it on the counter? Who keeps it in the fridge? Let me know below. I want to know. But of recent, Matt has been wanting soft butter. So he's like, we need a butter dish. We need to put it on the counter so it's nice and warm. And I've been hunting for something that would be cute, but also functional. And I found this really cute ceramic dish. It's kind of like a speckled off-white glaze, and it says made in Japan, so that's kind of cool. I don't know anything about this brand. It's Baroque Hearthside Stoneware Japan, so I'll look it up when I get home, but I liked the just neutralness of it. I thought it would work well on the counter, and it will check that box for Matt, so I'm sure he'll be thrilled about that. But this was listed as $28, which, I mean, I don't know what this is worth, so I guess that could be somewhat on par, but it was 75% off, so I ended up paying $7 or $7 for this. But then, like, the wooden shelf that I found, I think I showed a clip of it. I loved that. I would have definitely picked that up and found a place for it somewhere. But the price tag was $200. 75% off would have made it $50. Not terrible, but I feel like I could find something like that at like a Goodwill or even on Facebook Marketplace for $30 to $40 or even less potentially. So I left it there, and I'll keep my eyes peeled for something like that in the future. The discounts definitely throw you a little bit because you think you're saving a lot of money, so you're more inclined to buy. So it is helpful to kind of know the general price of things that you're looking at so that you know, like, is this a deal? Am I getting something on par, or am I actually paying more and I could just hold off and find it somewhere else? All that said, definitely a fun place to walk around. They've got tons of stuff. It's packed to the brim, and I always find at least one or two things when I'm walking around. So if you are in the Salem, New Hampshire area, definitely check it out. Now we're gonna head back home. I wanna play with my camera for a little bit, and then Matt and I are going to figure out where we wanna go for dinner tonight because I do not feel like cooking. I just washed the butter dish and put a stick of butter in it, and I'm gonna leave it on the counter and see if Matt notices when he gets home. I suspect it won't be obvious until he makes like toast or something, and then he's like, wait, what is this? But it's time to open the new camera. I'm just gonna give you the highlights because I realize that a lot of you probably aren't here for this, but if you are into tech or cameras or any of that, you might be interested to know some of this. So if you don't want to, just skip ahead. So what is cool about this camera? So many things. First, it's really small. It's just like a handheld camera, so I can easily stick it in my purse, stick it in my pocket. Now, there are a lot of attachments you can get for this camera, which I have ordered a handful of already, because you can like extend its capabilities with, you know, like attaching a magnet thing on the back so you can stick it places, different kinds of stands, extenders so it's easier to hold, additional batteries, etc. But like, this is the camera with no attachments. It's tiny. Like, I can fit it in my hand, and oh my gosh, this is so small. I love it. I love it. That is one of the things I love so much about the Canon G7X. It's really small. Two things I also love about that I could not find in any other camera in the same size and price point was the in-camera stabilization and the fact that the screen flips up and not out to the side. So the footprint of the camera stays really small. And this has a screen that just rotates, just like that. So you can film, look at, it looks like a little robot head. Oh my god, this is so cool. I'm freaking out. So, whoa, look at that. Okay, so what I was saying was the screen flips both directions. I got distracted because that was so cool. That means I can film horizontally, and if I rotate the screen this way, I can film vertically. I was really excited about that feature because I'm terrible at picking up my phone and filming anything in a vertical format for Instagram. So being able to do that both horizontally and vertically on the same device is going to come in handy. Now, that does not mean I'm going to be posting like crazy on Instagram because I have my hands full as it is at the moment, but hopefully I can kind of work toward that and have a little more footage that I can use on platforms like Instagram. The other cool feature that you kind of saw when I turned it on the first time is this. I don't know if it'll focus. Come on, focus on this. This camera, like lens head, I don't know what you'd call that, is actually on a gimbal. So you can see that when I kind of rotate it side to side, the lens itself is staying stable. And That is so key when you're like walking around on uneven ground, tripping, which I do very often, or just like constantly moving. I find that the Canon G7X has decent in-camera stabilization, but most of the other cameras that are very popular with vloggers are not, and they are so shaky. It can be really hard to watch if that shakiness bothers you. So I'm excited to have that capability now. Another cool feature is that this has auto tracking. So I can set this little camera up and I can have it follow my movements. So especially for someone like me who's always filming by herself, that comes in really handy because I don't have to constantly move the camera for everything. Obviously, I'm still moving it to get different shots, but if I want you to follow me around in a room, or I'm kind of like showing you something and I don't want to be carrying the camera around, I can just set it up and it will follow me around, which is super cool. So we'll have to try that out. The last like highlight is that it comes with a mic. I'm so excited about this. Okay, you guys, I'm not a big setup person. I don't want this to be like a whole production every time I want to vlog. I really like the low production. I love that all I have is a camera and me. And yeah, sometimes that means things are shaky. Sometimes it means the audio doesn't sound great, but it's real life. That's what's really happening. And if I have a big setup, I know I won't reach for it. But this thing is so teeny weeny, and they have an even tinier one called the DJI Mic Mini, which maybe I'll explore in the future. But this is super small, so it's easy to like hold on to if I want to talk. I can do this in like thrift stores when I'm trying to be quiet and I don't like talking out loud in public places. And I can also clip it onto myself if I'm like out in the garden and further away from the camera, so you can still hear what I'm saying. This little guy helps a lot when you're outside and it's windy or there's a lot of background noise. It just kind of helps like focus on the voice that's talking. So I'm excited to experiment with this. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I won't go on and on about it. I'm sure I'll learn lots as I start to play around with it and start to film with it, and you will be seeing me film with this in the next vlog after this one, hopefully, if all goes well and I can actually figure it out and set it up properly. So keep an eye out for that, and when you see me using it, let me know what you think. It looks like there's a little quick start guide on the screen, so you can kind of tap through and learn how to use the camera, learn how to set up the settings. So I'm gonna play around with that for a little bit and see if I can figure out how to connect this mic while I wait for Matt to get home so we can go to eat, because I'm starving. Did you notice anything different?
No, I didn't.
You little faker. My goodness. I had to re-record it. I told him to pretend he was surprised.
This is all we could ever ask for. Now we could have room temperature butter.
Oh boy.
In a very pretty...
Yeah, isn't that cute? A little loop right there. I noticed like there's, see how it's like that weird glazing on the side?
It's probably I don't know if
it was like a miss, yeah.
It was probably like done by Molly.
$7. Hey, back off. Really cute. Good morning, bright and early Saturday morning. Back in the car. I am actually headed to go pick up a Facebook Marketplace find. So I've had this vision for the landing upstairs to turn it into like a little seating area with like a cafe table or bistro table and a couple of chairs, so I can work up there or drink coffee up there. And I haven't found the table yet, but I spotted this really pretty pair of chairs for only $50 that I thought could work really well. So I'm gonna pick those up, and then I'm actually going to meet up with Matt and some friends at a golf simulator to hang out for a bit. And then when I get home later, I'll show you the full chairs because it's gonna be hard to show you in the car.
And so I think they're like well over 50 years old. They could be.
All right, we have acquired the chairs. I don't know if you can see them back there. I have one in the back seat and one in the trunk, and they fit perfectly. This car, I have a Nissan Rogue. This car I have fit the craziest things into, and everyone's always surprised. These aren't that bad, but I've fit much larger things than this. But anyway, very excited about them. She was saying how, she's like, I feel like I should have priced them for more. She got over 200 people asking about them. So I feel like that's a sign that you got a good thing when everyone wants it and the price is that low. So I'm excited to show you them in better light at the house. Since I am in the South Weymouth area and I have about a 50-60 minute drive back up to Peabody, which is where we're meeting at the golf sim, I figured I would find a place to get coffee. And there's this really cute place called Mary Lou's, which I have heard great things about. I've never been here because I'm not usually in the South Shore area, but it was like 5 minutes away. So I'm gonna grab a coffee, maybe get a snack, I don't know, we'll see what they have, and then get in the car and head back up to Peabody. Ooh, that is sweet. Ooh. Good morning again. I'm about to hit the road for a brunch with friends, but I didn't have time to film the chairs I got last night and I wanted to do it in the daylight. So I'm currently upstairs. This is this little landing space we have off of the 2 stairwells. So we have this little back stairwell and then we have kind of like the main stairwell. I currently have this bench in the space, which I still absolutely love. I love the pattern, I love the shape of it, and I have loved it in this spot, but we don't really sit here. And I think it's because we don't have like a little table. And I found this picture on Pinterest, I will include it here for reference, that just caught my eye and I was like, oh, I love that idea. We could have 2 chairs and a little like cafe table up here. So I'm still hunting for that cafe table, but I did find these 2 chairs, one of which you can see behind me here, that I thought would be perfect for this kind of setup. So I'm actually gonna move the bench. I have not quite decided where I want to move the bench to yet. Maybe at the end of our bed in our bedroom where I currently have those ottomans, and then I can find a different place for those. Or this could potentially work in the guest room somewhere. I'm not sure. I will definitely be keeping it because I love it and I'll try to find a space for it. But I'm really like set on making every little nook and corner usable, and if we have spaces that we're just not using, I want to try to figure out why and how we can actually make it a space that we will use for something, whether it's sitting and drinking coffee, working, hanging out with friends. We also have a really beautiful view of the raised bed garden from here, and I think I could see myself like, you know, bopping around the house, and like when I'm sick of being in the office for a while, I could come up here and work on my laptop or have lunch, or I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna move this bench and put the 2 chairs here to see how they look, see if they fit, and we'll work for what I'm thinking, and then we'll go from there. It's a little hard to tell if this is gonna work without a table, and I'm not 100% set on the color. I do love blue, but I keep finding these blues that are like a little more saturated than I like. I would love like more of a navy kind of blue, or even like more of a dusty blue. But these are just kind of like somewhere in the middle. So I'm gonna sit on it for a little bit, give them a good clean, and keep looking out for a little round table that I could put here. And then we'll kind of situate this to see if this will be a problem, because I really don't want to block this stairwell. And then in the future, we could potentially recover these if that blue was just not working. I have this rug here temporarily. This used to be in my office, but it no longer fits since we put the built-ins in. So I'm on the hunt for a lot of pieces in this space. If this just ends up being too tight, I could always split these chairs up and just keep one here and move one somewhere else, maybe in my office or like down in the sitting room or the living room. So I just really love the shape of them. I love the cane webbing here on the sides. It's in really good condition, and the only thing I think we really need to do is just reinforce these legs a little bit. So I'll probably flip them over at some point and just add some glue in there and then clamp everything so it's nice and tight. But Matt and I were sitting in them yesterday and they're pretty comfortable, so that's a good sign. Okay, Matt is yelling at me to get my butt outside, so I'm gonna put my stuff on, head to brunch, and then I actually think I found another item on Facebook Marketplace, which I'm hoping we can pick up today, and if we do, I will bring you along. This is our new bench. Put it right to the side here. Okay, we're back from brunch and the Facebook Marketplace pickup, and I'm really hoping this is going to fit. So I found this really pretty wooden bench, and I've been keeping my eyes peeled for something like this because in our little side porch, this is where we usually come in the house, we've got space for something like this, but it's always just like a dumping ground. Every time I clean it out, it just becomes like filled with stuff again. And I've been wanting to find a bench that we can put up against the wall here, so when people come over, they can like sit down, take their shoes off, or throw their coats or bags or whatever, and it functions more like an entryway because we don't have like a formal entry space that's, you know, wide enough for people to kind of like gather when they walk in. I've been keeping a lookout for just like a plain old wooden bench, like nothing crazy, nothing too detailed, like somewhat narrow so it could fit in the space, somewhat wide, so like 2 people could sit down at the same time. And I spotted this one. It was listed for $100. I reached out, asked her for dimensions, and then asked if it was wobbly, because sometimes people sell stuff and then you get it and it's like, well, you can't even sit in this. And I also asked if she was willing to go down to 70. She countered with 75, which I feel like is fair. It's in good condition. And I knew that if it didn't work, I could probably sell it for at least 75 again. So I ended up picking it up, and I will flip the camera and show you what it looks like. It's 5 feet long, so that's plenty of room. Honestly, probably 3 people could sit there. It has this little bar at the bottom, which I suspect is just to keep it from getting super wobbly, but we can still slide, like, you know, pairs of shoes underneath there. I could probably get some kind of basket or add another bar on the bottom so it had like 2 rungs that we could set baskets on. But I am going to clear this chaos out. Obviously all the shoes need to stay, but everything else is just, I don't even know why it's in here. So I'm going to clear this out really quickly, and then when Matt gets back from the dog walk, I'll have him help me bring this inside and see if it will fit. Is this okay if this is narrow? Because you can at least like sit, put your shoes on and stuff. Cool. This is so much better. Oh my gosh. This is, you know, somewhat narrow, but all you need to be able to do is, you know, sit down on the bench. And I moved the shoe rack to that side from this side because this is where the doors are. So when the shoe rack is here, it's like you can't even step to the side when like 2 or 3 people walk in at the same time. And I thought it would be nice to have this open. It doesn't work exactly here. I don't love how it's all like crammed in that corner. So I may have to see if I can find something that's a little more narrow, and then some shoes we can tuck under the bench here. But overall, this is so much more functional. And this will also force me to keep it more tidy, having like this bench here, because now I want to have this open so people can actually use it when they come over. Yay! I'm so excited! Good morning again. Our weekend vlog is spilling into the week, but after we set up the bench yesterday in the side entry, I was feeling inspired to play around with this little sitting area upstairs. So I decided to bring the round table that we had in the sitting room up here just to see what it looks like. We would definitely need something that's a little bit taller, like more of a standard cafe table height, just so it's at more of a comfortable working height. But it's giving me some inspiration and a good sense of like what can fit well in this space, so I know what to keep an eye out for. So this round table is more of like an end table height, I would say. So when you sit under here, your knees are pretty close to the table, and I don't even think Matt could like comfortably sit with his knees under that. But I do like the size of this table. I feel like it works well, and anything bigger is going to start to make this feel a little bit too tight, and I still want to maintain this walkway. I also grabbed the pillows from our bedroom and just threw them on the chairs because I feel like that helps like dull down the brightness of the blue in the chairs a little bit. I brought a book up, which I usually have on the round table downstairs, just to like style it and kind of see what it would look like. And then I ended up purchasing this lamp. I don't know if you guys watched a few vlogs ago when I did a Thrift With Me vlog. I had spotted this lamp at Milford Market Antiques in Milford, New Hampshire, and I really liked it, but I didn't pick it up, and I just kept thinking about it. So the last time I went there, I ended up grabbing it. I just loved the shade and the little milk glass base. I could plug it in right here, but I don't know how I feel about that cord situation, so I'm not sure it'll stay here forever, but I was just trying to like kind of put together a little space and see what might work, and I'm really loving this. It still leaves plenty of walkway here for us to get by, but now we can enjoy like sitting by the windows, looking out at the garden, and just have another like sitting space in the house. I relocated the bench to the end of our bed, so it's sitting there, and then I took the 2 X-Base ottomans we recently thrifted and moved them downstairs to the sitting room, and I don't think that'll be the permanent location, but just kind of shifting things around for now. I'm also going to keep my eyes peeled for a slightly smaller rug, I think. This does work. It's got kind of those like blue tones, which I think works well. Hi, Junie. Hi. but I would love it just to be a little less narrow, or sorry, a little less wide, so that eventually we could get a runner that goes down this whole hallway, and just kind of like breaks up the two spaces as like walking and then like sitting space. This is what the sitting room looks like now. It's a little bit of a mishmash, but like I said, I don't think these will stay here forever. They are nice because they give us like something to throw our legs up on because they're the perfect height. So I'm gonna kind of think about whether I would keep these here and what I would want to recover them in if I do. And if not, I'll have to think of where I can move these to. Because our rooms, like, they're not very big rooms. They're actually pretty tight. So I'm kind of running out of like cracks and corners, and I have to be really clever with how I tuck things in so that we still have like a clear walkway and space for like dog beds and, you know, required things like the dog crate. So lots to think about, lots of moving things around. I'm constantly doing that. No room is ever finished. I'm trying to get there, but I'm always like, ooh, if I get this, I can move this here and this would look good there and I could sell that to make room for this. So my wheels are always turning. Speaking of Facebook Marketplace finds, we are saying goodbye to this bed frame, which I picked up for free on Facebook Marketplace probably 6 years ago now. So if you're caught up on recent vlogs, you probably saw Matt and I take this apart. It used to be in his office / a second guest room, and we're gonna do something a little bit different with that space and the sleeping situation there because it just took up so much space in the room and we wanted something more compact. So it's time to say goodbye to this. When we got this piece, it was just like a wood color, like a dark wood, and it had this like engraving of, I think it was wheat. I'd have to look back. I remember doing this and posting it on Instagram, so if I can find that link or that video, I'll include it here, or at least include a link in the description. But I basically just wood filled it, sanded it, and then primed and painted the whole piece so that it fit a little bit better with our decor in our old guest room at our old house. And it served us really well for a really long time, but it's time to say goodbye. So I got it for $0. I'm selling it for $75, and that basically pays for the new bench we found. So one thing comes in, one thing goes out. Bye, little bed. I have been trying to be a little more diligent about selling the stash of furniture pieces I have in the barn. A lot of times I'll find something before I have sold something else. So we've been chipping away at that pile, and it's just a reminder that, like, unless you really love it, there's no need to hang on to it. And a lot of times I'll find something else that I like even better. So unless it is a truly special piece or something that you just absolutely love, it's not really doing you any good just like sitting in a storage space. So again, unless you have plans for it, which, you know, don't just get rid of everything, but if it's something that you just can't see yourself using or you don't have the space for, give it a new home, and, you know, that will just make room for more things that you love. I made myself an electrolyte drink mix, and I think we're gonna wrap up here because I need to head down to the basement and start planting seeds. No more excuses, it's gotta get done, and I'm already behind schedule. So I'm gonna go work on that. Hopefully you enjoyed joining me on all my errands and thrifting and Facebook Marketplace pickups in this vlog. We've got lots more of that coming. I have a couple of projects that I'm trying to sort out, and I'll be sharing those soon. Lots of gardening coming up, and yeah, just all kinds of stuff. So as always, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, click the bell notification if you want to be notified for future uploads, and share it with a friend if you think it's something they'd like. I will catch up with you in the next video.